Hello guys, welcome back to a video on the channel. Today I'm doing something that I do every single year on the channel, reacting to my predictions I made at the start of the season. I'll be doing this for the Premier League and Championship. This is the Championship version of it. Of course, us content creators for football love to make predictions, and at the end of the season quite a few of us do end up reacting to them and being made look quite stupid by some of our predictions we made. So I'll do that as well today so you guys can have a nice laugh. Same as always, the scoring method we're going to go by, because at the end of the video I'll be comparing my scores to a few of the other Championship predictions that other YouTubers have made, comparing how I've done alongside them. Also, this is my 4th season of doing Championship predictions now, so I've got a bit of a standard set now, so I can tell you if this is a good season for me or a bad. Without further ado though, let's get into the video. So starting off at the bottom then, in 24th place, I predicted Wigan Athletic to finish there, and they did, which is already 1 out of 1. One fantastic prediction, spot on prediction. Yeah, Wigan going into this season, of course, I think they won League One last season before coming up. They did have a good start to the season, but then over the course of the season, results just slowed down. The sacking of Richardson, I'm pretty sure his name is, that really confused me, because I thought he was doing alright at Wigan. 23rd, I put Rotherham United. Now, they always seem to be a yo-yo club between League One and the Championship. I thought it'd happen again. It didn't. They ended up surviving and finishing 19th, which for them is fantastic. So there, I've put 4 points on the board for myself, which isn't too bad for Rotherham. You know, they could have embarrassed me and stayed up by a lot more, but it was a fairly reasonable prediction. In 22nd then, I put Blackpool. I did think they'd struggle this season. Of course, Neil Critchley leaving them and in the last season. For me, Blackpool just didn't have enough this year. At one point it looked like they would be fine, and then Mick McCarthy coming in didn't really help them at all. And Stephen Dobie at the end almost pulled off the impossible, but no, next season they've got Neil Critchley back in League One. Hopefully they can bounce back. In 21st, I put Birmingham City. Now, Birmingham, the last few years they have been struggling. This season, they weren't really in the thick of it at the bottom of the Championship. You know, they were okay. They did have a decent start to the season and then slipped away, as they always do. 4 points off on this one. And next up is Reading. If they didn't have their 6-point deduction, they would have stayed up, which is just added salt in the wounds of Reading fans. Next year in League One, they're trying to appoint Chris Wilder. For this one though, I did think they'd struggle. That's why I put them 20th. I didn't think they'd go down though. They did in 22nd, which is quite frustrating, especially as a Swansea fan, because if they didn't have those, if they had those extra 6 points, Cardiff would have gone down, which is a bit frustrating, but it happens. Up next, probably the worst prediction I've made. It is the worst prediction I've made in this video. I put Sunderland 19th, and I thought this would be a fantastic season for Sunderland. You know, they just won the playoffs last year in League One. They finished the playoffs again this season in the Championship. Who's seen that coming? Not me, that's for sure. What a season it was for Sunderland. And next season, can they kick on again? I think that'd be really tricky, but never doubt Sunderland. That's my lesson from that one. Into 18th, I put Huddersfield. I just had a strange feeling. Of course, they lost the playoff final the season before. Got it spot on, bang on the money. Neil Warnock coming in to save them, and it looks like he might be staying for next season. Very good for the Huddersfield faithful. In 17th, I put Cardiff City. Now, I thought I was being really harsh with this one. Of course, they signed a lot of players. None of them really, though, of Championship quality. For me, they're all probably League One players that they signed last summer, because they signed loads. So I thought 17th would be a little bit harsh on them, but fairly realistic. And being a Swansea fan, I knew I'd get stick for it. However, they finished even lower than that in 21st. So now I look like I've overrated them quite a bit this season. So yeah, hard to judge Cardiff. Next year they'll be in the relegation scrap as well, I'm pretty sure, unless they have an incredible summer. I can't see that happening though, but for Cardiff, a season to forget for them. In 16th, I put Bristol City, and they ended up finishing 14th. So this prediction, fairly okay, only 2 off on this one. So I'm classing that as a good prediction. Bristol, this season, were always mid-table all the way through, really. Weren't really in a relegation scrap at all. Weren't really pushing for the playoffs at all. They've always been in the middle this season. Maybe next season, something can change for them. At the start of the season, I put Blackburn Rovers in 15th. What a big mistake that was. I just couldn't see them delivering. Of course, Tony Mowbray left and they had an unknown manager, John Dal Thomason. I didn't think he'd deliver. But what an incredible season for Blackburn, finishing 7th. I don't know how they missed out on the playoffs. But Ben Brereton Diaz, of course, leaving now for them, which next season will be interesting to see if they do drop off finally, or somehow manage to replace him in the summer. But yeah, tricky that one for Blackburn, and next season can be even trickier to predict them. In 14th place, I put QPR. Now, at the start of the season, they were incredible, flying top of the Championship. Then Beale left for Rangers, and it all went downhill. Correctly spelled, the club was dreadful, and in the end, Gareth Ainsworth just about doing enough to keep them up in the Championship. They ended up finishing 20th in the league. So that prediction, although I thought QPR would have a bit of a drop off from the season before, I didn't think it would be this much. 13th place, I put Stoke. Stoke really tricky ever since they come down from the Championship. Don't know if they're going to improve or just stay the same, and this season they just stayed the same as well. Finishing 16th, I predicted them 13th. Not too unhappy about that one, only 3 off. As we go into the top half of the Championship, I put Hull 12th, and I thought Hull, of course, they new owners, they signed a few promising players, proven players as well. I thought they'd deliver. They almost did. You know, it was a slow start for Hull, but then after Rossignol come in, things started to change for them. And next season, it's quite exciting for Hull City. This prediction, though, only 3 off again, so as once again, not too bad at all. In 11th, I put Preston North End. What a start to the season, by the way. I think it was 8 clean sheets in a row. Incredible, with Freddie Woodman between the sticks. This one, not bad at all as well. Only 1 off, of course. Preston finished bang on middle in 12th. In 10th place, I put Coventry City. I just didn't think they'd keep on improving after season upon season. But they have. They finished 5th. Of course, at one point it looked like they wouldn't make it into the playoffs, but then everyone sort of slipped up and Coventry just kept going and going and going. Start of the season was really poor from them. Of course, they didn't have their stadium ready for a few weeks, so a lot of games postponed. But on the whole of it, Coventry making it to the playoff final, losing out to Luton in the end. Heartbreak for them. Next season, I can't see them improving on 5th, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Of course, a few big players in that Coventry side. We'll have to wait and see if they stay or go. And in 9th, I put the team that went up to the Premier League through the playoffs, Luton Town. What was I thinking? Of course, making the playoffs last season in 6th place. I didn't think they'd improve on that. I thought they'd fall off a little bit. I thought competition in the Championship this season was going to be a bit better, so Luton would slip off. Of course, Nathan Jones left midway through the season as well. And then Rob Edwards come in from Watford, and he's just carried them to the Premier League. Incredible story. He's the first ever Championship manager to get sacked in the season and promoted in the same season in the Championship. Marvellous for them. Marvellous for Canberra. He was marvellous. 8th place then, I put Millwall. And looking back on it, how on earth did they bottle the playoffs? This one, by the way, is a correct score. But I'm just scratching my head. How have Millwall not made the playoffs this season? I don't know. That's not for me to answer, but I'm happy I got this one that's spot on the money as well. In 7th, I put Watford. I did think they'd miss out on top 6 this season, which at the start of the season was a very, very bold move. Of course, they ended up finishing in 11th, so not really too good for Watford, a club of their size, their standards they've set themselves in the past few years. So yeah, for Watford, really disappointing. Be interesting to see what happens in the summer. Of course, they brought in Valérien Ismaël now for next season, if he makes it that far, that is. But yeah, Watford, looks like they might be spending a few seasons back in the second tier. Going on to the top 6 now, and in 6th place I did put my side Swansea. Now I know a lot of you are going to say, just being biased, it's your club, of course you're going to put them high. I'm looking back on the season and I don't know how we haven't finished higher than 6th, being honest. I think we could have finished about 4th if we were just better at the end of games, and that's very vague to say because better can be better in a lot of things, but seriously, we bottled games against Millwall, conceding 2 stoppage time goals. That's just one occasion, you know, we bottled so many games this season, and at the end we went 9 unbeaten, which is incredible. But yeah, all good things do have to come to an end, and with Russell Martin now looking like he's going to go to Southampton, that good thing is coming to an end. Otherwise I would have been very hopeful for us pushing on next season. So this prediction, although it was 4 off, I don't think I was that bad of a prediction at all, and we definitely could have done better than 6th. So a bit of frustration, but overall not that bad of a prediction. 5th place I put West Brom, and they did ultimately miss out on the playoffs, and they finished 9th, of course going down to the final day for them, finishing just 1 place ahead of the Swans. West Brom, strange season for them, of course. Didn't start too well, but then as soon as Carlos Corberán come in through the building, things started to change, and at one point it looked like a playoff place was certain for them, and then they slipped away again. Next season as well, tricky for them. I do think they'll be in the Championship for a few years to come now before they can have another playoff charge or even automatic promotion charge. But West Brom, one to look out for, and this prediction once again being 4 off, but I'm not too frustrated about that. In 4th place then I did put the champions Burnley. I just didn't see them winning the league. I thought it would be a lot more competitive this season than what it turned out to be, and Burnley walked the league. You know, it was done with a lot of games to go. Vincent Kompany, what a job he's done, and next season in the Premier League, very excited to see what this Burnley side can do. Don't think they'll be going down, I think they will stay up. Just really excited to see it. Vincent Kompany, young upcoming manager, very promising indeed. In 3rd I put Norwich, and once again at the start of the season this seemed outrageous, putting Norwich outside the top 2. I just didn't fancy them, and ultimately they finished in the bottom half of the table in 13th, so 10 points for this one, which I'm not too happy about, to be honest. You know, I sort of listened to everyone else instead of myself. Otherwise I probably would have put them around where Watford are, to be honest. But really disappointed for Norwich. Next season, once again, I don't think they'll be in the playoff race. I think there'll be another mid-table finish for them. We'll have to wait and see. And my 4th spot on prediction goes to Sheffield United, predicting them to finish 2nd. At one point that spot was under threat from Middlesbrough, but in the end they did hang on, and they're going back up to the top flight. And top of the league I did put Middlesbrough. Now this could have sort of not easily happened, but been very doable if Michael Carrick was in from the start. Of course, really slow start from Middlesbrough with Chris Wilder. Looking at the squads at the start of the season, I thought Middlesbrough was far and away the strongest. Just what happened? How did Wilder not deliver with that side? Not too sure, but Carrick did incredible when he took over and leading them to the playoffs. Unfortunately, no, not going all the way. Well then guys, they are my predictions. So as a prediction score, that gives me the total of 90 with 4 spot on. If I read out a few of my previous prediction scores and what I've got spot on, I'll put them on screen now as well. So in the 1920 season, I had 122 points with 2 predictions correct, which isn't great at all. It is not great. In the 2020/21 season, I did a lot better than that, getting 85 points, 6 correct, which is incredible. You know, it's a quarter of the championship spot on. In the 2021/22 season, prediction score of 126 last season, which once again is awful. You don't want to be getting that higher number, but I did get 2 correct last season. And then this season, bringing it back down to 90 and 4 spot on predictions. So I sort of seem to have a bad season followed by a good one, followed by bad, followed by good. So next season, if this form continues, looks like it's going to be a bad season from me. Hopefully I can change that though. On screen now then I have a table comparing myself to other championship YouTubers and their prediction score and how many they got correct. As you can see at the top, it is me for this season. What can I say? And a lot of people haven't included me in their videos, like Matt SB. Just, you know, I didn't want to embarrass them, so I guess that's why they left me out in the end, but maybe next season. So, of course, I beat the likes of Fogden, Visa, Fogdad, James Lawrence Olcott, Irish Guy, Matt SB, Rads, of course, the Nottingham Forest fan, talk Norwich City. So I'm very happy on the whole with my championship predictions this season. Did very well indeed. Let me know how you got on in the comment section down below and what you think looking back on my predictions. The worst one was Sunderland. The one that would have caught everyone out is Norwich. And the rest, and Sunderland, have to say Sunderland caught everyone out as well. So they're the big two this season. Next season will be interesting. As I say, I'll be reacting to my Premier League predictions, so keep an eye out for that video as well. And of course, I'll be making my predictions for the 2023-24 season just after the summer, before the season starts. Keep an eye peeled for that. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like and subscribe. Turn notifications on so you do not miss any of those future videos. And I'll see you in the next one very soon, guys. Take care. Goodbye.